check out that schedule. All-Star Weekend is near, live streaming is near. I know I haven't live streamed in a long time. That's because I've been busy on the weekends, but we got some big games coming up, so I'm gonna make time and stream those games against the Bulls, stream the game against the Thunder. It should be good. Since I'm playing against the Pistons, why not talk about Brandon Knight? I actually played against him before he was in the NBA. It's a really nice story. It was actually a long time ago. Look at me cutting back door. Eric Gordon always throws me the lob. I love to do that. So let me talk about Brandon Knight. I played against him when he was 11 years old. I was, I believe, 13 at the time, almost turning 14. And it was at this park. It was called Firefighters Park. And this league was what I consider to be a fun league. It was something that a lot of basketball fans were in because it wasn't going on around the time that school leagues were going on, like middle school, high school. It was like in the off season. So a lot of people would go and play in this league in their off time, just so that they're playing basketball year round. And the way that the leagues were structured, they were structured by age. So like the first age group was like 11 to 13. Then the second one was like 14 to 17. So at that time, I'm 13, about to be 14, and he's 11. So he's just coming into this league, and I'm about to go up to the next one next year. I'm about to go, because I'm going to be 14, so I'm going to be in the next tier. And he was really good. He was really, really good. And he was skinny and short. And I was skinny too. I mean, even today people will say I'm skinny, but when you're skinny and you're young, you're really skinny. Like if you're, let's say you're 18, 20 now, you're looking back at your years when you were growing up, and if you were skinny, you were probably really skinny. So you kind of have a description of how he was. And the way that this league worked is that we basically got drafted by coaches, volunteer coaches. And Brandon Knight's dad was actually his coach that year on his team. So when you would get into the league, they'd have you do like a little tryout, a little run through. You do like some drills, and all the coaches would watch you. And then I guess they'd somehow determine who gets to pick first. So, they would pick teams that way. And my team actually that year, we were really good because I was 13, I was good. And then we had all the tall guys. We had like these two kids that were like 6 foot at the time. So they were like our centers. Our team was really good. Our team was way better than his. Now, what everybody remembers, they remember Brandon Knight's dad yelling at him over little things. It was, at the time, it was really funny. He would make like a little mistake, not even anything that you would really notice. He'd make a mistake and his dad would be raging at him like, how could you do that? And all the parents, because parents used to come and watch their kids play, all the parents used to be like, something's wrong with that guy. Like, it's not that serious. And a lot of the parents, they used to hate his dad because they see this kid, he's 11 years old and he's getting yelled at for doing basically, he's not really making mistakes, and they didn't understand it, but hey, it worked out because he's in the NBA today. So it worked out. So, if I have a son, when he's 11, I'm going to yell at him like that, and then he'll be in the NBA. So everyone that grew up in this area, we all remember Brandon Knight. Even the Lob City producer, my homie Remedy, he remembers Brandon Knight. And when he was in college, we were like, you remember Brandon Knight? And we're like, yeah. And then everyone's like, he's about to go to the NBA. And it's an amazing story because as we see him in college and, stories are coming out about his life, it comes out that he had like a 4.0 GPA in high school and he was playing basketball. Like, that is really impressive because there's not that many people in school that have 4.0 GPAs. I mean, that's basically a perfect GPA. Okay, so there's not that many people that have that. And then on top of that, he's an athlete as well. Because high school is a very distracting time. I'm sure a lot of people, when they look back to their high school years, they say things like, some people, they hated high school. They were like, it was terrible. They got bullied or they're dealing with all kinds of things. Oh, I'm bullying Brandon Knight in a video game. Oh my gosh. 2K disrespecting Brandon Knight right there. Splash. Look at that stumble. That's like the All-Star game right there. Oh my gosh. That's brutal. But yeah, now that I think about it, the 4.0 GPA, I think that was in college and not, oh wait, Lob City. Another backdoor cut lob from my boy Eric Gordon. So his 4.0 GPA was in college, which makes it even more impressive because college, you know, you actually really have to do work in college. It's not like high school. High school, you can do a lot of skimming and still get an A in a class. But in college, you got to put your time in. So that's really impressive that he was able to balance everything and still be the player that he is, make it to the NBA. And that's why it was so shocking, you know, because since that league, since, you know, he was 11, that was like the last time that I saw him in person, actually. So to see that he grew to be 6'3", because, you know, I remember the little short version of him, the little skinny version, and now he's 6'3". He's fast, you know, he's athletic, and it's just funny. It's kind of like when you have a little cousin or a family member, you know, you haven't seen them in like 5-6 years, then you see them and they're all grown up and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, that's kind of like what it is. So, you know, his story is amazing. Even though I'm not a Pistons fan, I root for Brandon Knight. You know, I hope he has a great NBA career. He's only been in the league for a couple of years now, and he's doing pretty good. You know, I expect him to get much better, and we'll see what happens. We'll see if he can bring it home, if he can represent. And the funny thing about Brandon Knight is when I used to play in online leagues, you know, I was like, yo, I'm going to draft my boy Brandon Knight. But I actually didn't play in leagues that year. In 2K12, I didn't play in online leagues. You know, I really wish that they would improve the online leagues because I miss it. It was so much fun and it was so good. I don't know what happened to their online leagues, 2K. Even though it had glitches, like a lot of the time you couldn't advance to the playoffs sometimes, or if you're in round 1 of your online league, you couldn't advance to round 2. They had glitches, but it was a lot of fun. It's a lot of work to put together, but it's definitely worth it. And I would have drafted Brandon Knight. I would have been getting highlight clips with him. And as you see, it was a blowout, but the game is coming down to the wire. I somehow managed to get 10 rebounds, so I have a triple-double. It's clutch. Look at that. My passes are going all over the place. I had 7 turnovers in this game. They get a steal. Look at Brandon Knight doing a spin move, finding Stuckey wide open. It's only a 2-point game. I was doing a lot of fooling around in this game. I didn't even really care about the win. I mean, we've been on such a great winning streak. I was just going for stats, and this is what happens. Now it's a close game. It's down to the wire. Only a minute left. Find Eric Gordon wide open, and he misses the 3. We get it back. They're bringing a double team, and look, I just straight up ignore Aminu because I know he doesn't like to shoot. I waved him off. Aminu's probably angry. Look, he gets open again. I still ignore him. Look, he's open. I'm like, I ain't passing it to you. You never shoot it when I pass it. Shot clock cheese. Pass it back to Eric Gordon. Oh, he misses again. Maybe I should have passed it to Aminu. So what is Brandon Knight going to do? I'm pressuring him in the backcourt. And Jefferson is tired. He's tired. He makes a bad pass. Turnover. Ha ha. Wow, what a game. There's only 6.4 seconds left. Hey, we're playing against the Hall of Fame CPU. You know the rules. No sportsmanship. If I was actually playing against him, I would have sportsmanship, but not the Hall of Fame CPU, because the Hall of Fame CPU, they cheese you to death. So, I mean, it had to be done. I had 54 points, 10 rebounds, 14 assists, but I know Brandon Knight, he ain't mad because I'm playing a virtual game and he's actually in the game because he's in the NBA, so he ain't mad. He dropped that splash. And like I said before, I had 7 turnovers. Another video will be out in a few days.
You have to be elated after hitting that shot to win the game. Where does this rank on the list of your biggest moments on the basketball court?
I'll be honest, it was a huge moment. I'm used to having the ball in my hands with the game on the line, but it's not very often you get a chance to hit a game winner like that. I always expect the ball to go in, but you never know if you're going to get fouled or double teamed or something. And this time it just worked out. I'd like to tell you I'm used to it at this point, but that doesn't make it any less sweet.